Chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, Ola Olukoyede, has urged Nigerians to embrace transparency and accountability as part of efforts to curb corruption. The EFCC chairman spoke through his assistant commander and head of public affairs at the Benin Zonal Directorate after Commission, Williams Osagali, at a conference sponsored by Tantita Security Services Nigeria Limited in Delta State. Olukoyede said Nigeria can only attain good governance when citizens play their roles with commitment to accountability and due process. He added that the country's socio-economic challenges are rooted in corruption and its effect. Anti-corruption campaigner and convener of Corruption Not in My Country, Akin Fadeyi, joins me now to discuss the corruption menace as a clog in the wheel of Nigeria's development. Thank you very much for being here. The EFCC chairman said quite a lot in a no-holds-barred tone, and chief of them perhaps was that Nigeria is still perceived as a hub of entrenched corruption. Is Nigeria's corruption situation today one of perception or factual reality?
All right, thank you very much for having me. Let me be sure that you can hear me clearly.
Yes, I can, please. Go ahead.
All right, thank you. All right, so that question is split into two parts, and this is how I'm going to approach it. On paper, let me bring out some data that I have. Nigeria is currently ranked among the world's, most 40 countries that are deemed corrupt on the Corruption Perception Index. Also, on the World Bank list of countries measured by their control of corruption, Nigeria ranks 35 from the bottom. Also, in the Unbundled Corruption Index, Nigeria ranks highly in all the 4 metrics of corruptions being considered. When you look at Africa, Nigeria ranks 33rd of overall governance out of 54 countries measured. And this was from the, Ibrahim Index of African Governance, IIAG. So you can begin to look at the various metrics that we've been measured against. Is not looking good. I was privy to, a sponsored study from Chatham House by the MacArthur Foundation, and I realized that Nigeria is struggling in fulfilling basic services for its country. Corruption has driven violence, it has driven protest. Corruption has driven emigration from the country. You have the Japa syndrome, and there's a whole lot of despondency, hopelessness amongst the youth. So, factual reality, I would say yes. When people don't have access to justice, if they have to bribe their way to get it, especially the poor, corruption is a factual reality. If people have to pay their way to access the basic duties, functions of law enforcement agents, corruption is their factual reality. But again, I'm never cynical. I don't indulge in iconoclasm. I think there are reasons to be hopeful. There are reasons to be happy. And that is the fact that we need to understand that corruption is a global epidemic. The United States was ranking, I think, 71 in 2012 on the Global Corruption Index. Now it is ranking 65. You could look around the world and see that many countries are dropping off that list. The list 10 corrupt countries in the world are Switzerland, Norway, Denmark, and what have you. So I do think that, yes, it's a factual reality, but at the same time, I do think that when we're looking at perception, there's something Honorable Tuji Alausa said just a while ago in another news. He said we need to begin to crunch our own data. What are the things that we're beginning to do right in this country? A lot of people have said they have easier access to, the renewal of their passports now. A lot of people from the diaspora said, listen, I sent it in, I got it back in 10 days. Right. So because there's been a reduction in human interaction, corruption probably has dropped there. So on both sides of the coin, there's a little bit of hope from optics, from factual reality. There's a little bit of sadness, but we need to keep working towards an egalitarian society.
All right, one curious thing though, we have a case of the EFCC telling Nigerians the role they must play in the fight against corruption. But as the frontal agency in the anti-corruption war, are you satisfied with the agency's scorecard in 2 years under Olukoyede's term? Are they headed in the right direction?
Okay, I'm not Mr. Olukoyede's spokesperson, but I think I followed up on him consistently. I remember that my foundation sent him a letter over a year ago that we've spotted some gaps, some very begging gaps, through which we need to exercise or advocate for behavioral change on scam, romance scam, financial fraud, and what have you, through relatable messages. So I follow what they do. The EFCC said they've secured 3,455 convictions across all categories of financial crime in the country. The EFCC said they've recovered over 248 billion naira from funds that have been siphoned out of public space. In foreign currencies, the EFCC said, listen, we've gotten back over $105 million. Give me a second, I'm losing battery. Sorry. We've secured, this ton of amount of money. So when you look at this kind of scorecard, we could say they're headed in the right direction, especially because all these funds being recovered, they're putting it in public space. If you go to EFCC website, it's right there. If people have contrary opinions, they could also, take on the EFCC. Also,
yeah, some people have accused the agency of redefining economic and financial corruption to mean people spraying them naira and people involved in online fraud, when globally we have remained on the grey list of the Financial Action Task Force because high-profile cases are overlooked. Aren't we just dealing with surface issues here?
Yeah, seriously, I do not think Nigeria should be majoring in minor. I do not think our focus should be on people who are spraying money in their parties. While I do not encourage the decimation, of our naira, of our currency, I do think we should chase more high-profile cases more than that, because the truth is, you cannot, it's a very hydra-headed issue. You cannot, ramp up everyone that sprays money at naira. I watch a lot of stuff on YouTube and I see people spray money, and I always ask myself, how many of this will you arrest? But again, there's something I noticed that is going on here. I think EFCC is just being strategic in its approach to fighting corruption. It's trying to look at bottom-up approach. That look, from amongst ourselves, let's begin to do the right things. If we value our currency, we should not decimate it. If we value our reputation as a nation, we should not be indulging in online fraud. I think EFCC is trying to say that you cannot have an accountable leadership if you don't have responsible followers. And because this fits into corruption not in my country, I'm aligned to that. About high-profile cases, I'm not going to spare EFCC. EFCC should go after public officials who are stealing money. But again, EFCC says to us that, listen, we've taken Yaya Bello to court, we've taken Hadi Sirika to court, we've taken Abdul Fattah Ahmed from Kwara to court. These were ex-governors. These were very influential Nigerians. Their cases are in front of different judges. And so the judiciary should step up, make a loud and bold statement to ensure that justice is done. If people have been, if public funds has been siphoned, because this is people's collective patrimony. So
indeed,
both ways,
sorry to interject, but we actually are out of time for this conversation. So I have to say thank you very much for giving us your time.